Welcome back to IGN at Gamescom now. Joining me now, I've got Robert and Lucas from Warsaw here to talk about Giants Uprising, and here is my small friend Brian Altano.
Hello,
to
thanks
ask
for calling me that.
questions. So this is a game, as the title would suggest, about Giants Uprising, and then doing what Giants do, which is to go in and smash some villages. Tell me a little bit about it, please.
We call Giant Uprising as a hack and crash game. So definitely there are elements of RPG in our game. So you have your giant that you may add some features to the giant. You may craft your weapons to the giant. But mostly the gameplay is about like crushing everything that you see around. This is a location that we have here for Gamescom to test how people react on our game. So this is the first time we are showing the game. And we've got a village, there is a giant. We have to, our mission with this small demo is to crash the city, crash the village. And to win a battle with a giant that is a giant that people forced and closed in a area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I like this because it's such it's a fantasy to go in and smash a bunch of stuff. Like, it feels like being a little kid and knocking over a bunch of blocks. I think some people might be concerned about this being like too easy. Like, being a giant seems great. You can just go and crash everything. What kind of a challenge will you offer to players to keep them from being like too powerful?
This is very beginning of the game, first of all. So everything is easy. The idea behind the Giant Uprising is that even if you are big, like the Titan, it doesn't mean that everything comes easy. Because, for example, the enemies are hard to spot. You are a very good target. There are some limitations connected with the environment. When you hit the swamps or the moving sands, you are a very, very heavy guy, so you are going down very, very quickly. When you try to pass the mountain pass that was built by humans for humans, you are too big to fit there. So, so you have to find your way to move through the levels, not only by crashing stuff, but also discovering the strategy and tactics for it. And to say something more, what Lucas mentioned, the game is not about destroying for the sake of destroy. There is the giants have real reason to start a new war with the humans. So this is a story behind it.
I feel like for a very long time in various cultures throughout history, people respected and feared giants, and they thought they were real, and then that just kind of stopped happening. Why did you guys decide to make a game about this specific mythical person, man?
Because there is no such game. Like, there are games that you are a human and you have a boss that is a giant.
Right.
You have to fight with a giant. There is no reference game. There is no such game that you are a giant and you are the good guy and people are the bad guys. In our story that Robert wrote for the game, the people, there was a pact between people and giants, and people broke the pact. So giants have to rescue the race of giants because people forced them to go out from the land that they had before. So this is completely different perspective, and that's one of the reasons why we did the game, because the motto of the company is games from different perspective. We seek for ideas for games that don't have any representation in the computer games industry, and that's our idea. So we seek for good ideas without reference, and we try to do it the highest possible quality to be on the market.
So you saw a lack of games where giants beat up cities, and you're like, we're going to make one of these. I love that.
Why not?
I respect that.
Like I am the old style guy. I played computer games for 30 years now, and I remember the times that you played games like I played all kind of games, and most of the games on the market are a copy of something. Like, you've got mechanics that we use many times in many games.
Yep.
And most of the mechanics that we've got in this game, in our previous games of B Simulator, don't have any reference. You don't have possibility to have that kind of experience in any other game. That's one of the reasons why we try to have it.
So this is a giant, but he's not like really, really giant. Like, you picked a specific size for this giant. What made you land on how big you wanted to make him instead of making him, 5,000 feet tall or something, just having a foot stomping on everything?
Then it won't be like, there won't be any balance. There won't be any possibility to balance it. Like, we use people, we use magicians in the game, so people and like ballistas and that kind of stuff that people have to defend the city. So definitely there is a balance. When you this is our like way of playing, but like most of the people try different strategies how to play our game, and that's good. Like they try different ways of going through. This is a prototype, early prototype of a game. Like we still develop the game, but we wanted to test it on Gamescom with people to have feedback in which direction it's the best way to go. And we see like huge amount of people want to play the game because it's like, okay, it's completely different than.
Can we talk about what's happening
I'm
here?
sorry, yeah, you're a
Move
giant.
over, Death Stranding. Here comes the other game where
Yes,
you can be on some stuff.
It's
I think
one
that's
of-
the theme of Gamescom is pissing on stuff.
I'm into it.
For now, in this demo, we've got 3 giants. We've got 10 of them in our game right now already. Though they are different in mechanics, they've got different skills that you may use to build a strategy by playing different giants and by playing the game in different ways. We've got many creative ideas how to expand the game, but we want to ask the players, like, do our way of like early access before even starting to sell a game. Just give us feedback, what we think about like the idea that we've got, and we'll do the game that you like.
Now, you actually had a giant come by your booth. Is that right?
Yeah, that was extremely funny that on our booth there was a giant, like a huge guy, 210 centimeters big, that like a giant playing a giant's game.
Here's a photo of him right here.
Wow.
This is definitely
wonderful.
the best moment of Gamescom that we've had with, and he was also playing the game and he liked it. So like,
That's good.
Oh, good.
it's
Giant
definitely
tested, giant approved.
what we wanted to have.
Did he give you any notes or ideas?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Like he's a reference player, yeah, for us.
There he is right there. This is
Yeah.
one of my favorite photos I've ever seen in my life.
Man,
honestly.
that is Gamescom right
Yeah,
there.
that's Gamescom the photo.
Now, let's talk about Bee Simulator. That seems pretty much like a sort of a different direction from Giants. Like, how did you go from a game about bees to a game about giants?
Once again, different perspective. There's no reference game. Why there's no bee game? Like two years ago, I asked myself that question. Like I've been reading a book about bees to my daughter, and I thought, ready scenario for a computer game. I checked. There is no that kind of game. So once again, why not doing it? Let's try. So I managed to gain a 5 people prototype team that made a prototype of this game. We showed it 5 months later on Tokyo Game Show 2017. And the amount of people that wanted to play a simple prototype of just flying a bee was huge. The amount of questions, what will be in the final game, were amazing. So we made a decision to make a full-scale game from Bee Simulator, not just a simulator. We've got gameplay, we've got 2 sides of the game, so easy mode and hard mode that is dedicated, the easy mode to kids, the hard mode is dedicated to adult players with different mechanics. Not only that it's harder to play, you've got different mechanics. We know that hardcore players need something else than children, and I think that we balance the game so that it's interesting both for kids and for adults, what is very uncommon in computer games. We also have like local split screen multiplayer mode, and we also think about it in Giants Uprising. Why? Because the old times, I like the old times, like you played on one couch, playing together, having emotions together. I also like online games,
Yeah,
but
just like this.
why
That's the way
not
to go.
like having emotions together with parents with children, for example? The same with Giants Uprising. I think that those games will be definitely games that parents will play with children. And like, why not? Let's have like, of course, Bee Simulator have small elements of education also, so it's like a game that is fully safe for children. Giants Uprising, like you smash people, you smash villages, like maybe a little bit a level of violence, but even though we don't have blood in Giants Uprising also. So those games are definitely the idea of different games.
Well, it's also like a kid knows what a bee is and a kid knows what a giant is. There's something very pure
Right.
about
Yeah,
that. It's
yeah.
Now, are there
Fairy
any
tale stuff.
giant bees in Giants Uprising?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, no, but
Like I must say that I like Easter eggs. And
Yeah.
definitely that's my answer for your question.
So one of the things I notice as the giant goes through the city and plunders and destroys, things turn into meat. Are those like what are those like?
Yeah.
Those like
Yeah, of
big
course.
hams?
Yeah, yeah.
And so
for
he,
example, sheep's like
Yeah, he trampled the whole thing of sheeps, and it just turned into a big just like a tornado of floating hams.
Yes.
Does he do that to eat? Like, does he ever get full?
To gain the HP. Yeah.
Oh, to gain HP. Okay, cool.
Regain, yeah.
So,
Are there
We
any-
don't eat people.
You don't eat people.
No, he doesn't
There's
eat
just
people.
hams in those houses.
Yes, that's right. Everybody has like 60, 50, hams inside their home at any given moment.
no, some buildings are like buildings for
Yeah.
the ships.
Now, are there going to be there are other giants or multiple giants? I'm sure. Are there going to be other giants that you encounter in the game? Perhaps.
It's a part of the story that when you start the game, you discover that the people manage, they find a way to enslave giants and use them as their own defenders. So going from the level to the level, you will find giants that will be fighting with you as the bosses, but your goal is to free them. And when you will free them, you will be able to play with this particular giant later.
Now, I have to ask you, we just saw it again, and this is just a spectacle for me. The giant urination, is that just to be mean? Is there a game for him to pee? Is that like is there a mechanic around that, or is he just being like a
No,
nuisance?
we use it in gameplay.
Oh,
course.
good.
Of
Good.
course, we
Does
use
he
it in
put out-
gameplay as
does
an
he
element
put
of
out
game.
fires?
For example, when you pee to
A good guess. I like that.
you may pee like you've seen to a lake, and then people when they will drink the water from the lake, they will die.
or they just won't drink it. Just then they will be without water. So this is also the way how to deal with the village without making destruction, just like cut them
Yeah.
resources.
We are creative.
So
yeah.
in Giants Uprising, you can pee in the lake, and then the people drink it and die. Game of the year.
I'm into it. And also, you can throw trees at hot air balloons. This is
You may
this is-
use trees like a weapon. You may use elements of buildings as a weapon. You may craft yourself a weapon, like a real weapon, but like you may throw things like
Discus.
discus.
Oh, nice.
This feels like the kind of game a kid would make in the best way. Like,
Yeah.
This is kind of unbridled imagination, and I'm really into it. And it's nice to see you guys doing something new like this. When can people? When are you expecting to launch?
So we expect the launch around definitely 2020. We don't have a release date like a strict one. Around the mid 2020, definitely the game will be the next steps
Yeah,
of the
well, I
game.
mean,
will be shown.
it's you brought it to Gamescom to show it off to people, and that's awesome. Thank you for showing it off to us. We have lots more here at Gamescom. We got to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.